Welcome back to Final Fantasy Ultra Champion Edition. Do not play this game if you are not a Final Fantasy champion. Last time we picked up the airship from the desert cave, and between then and now, I've done a little bit of growing and grinding. I've got a couple of new spell slots that are ready to be filled, but this video we're going to just explore some of the new things that open up when we have our airship. First thing to look at, this isn't technically something new that's opened here when we have the airship, but it's something that I have not demonstrated yet on this particular series of Let's Plays, and that is the Peninsula of Power over here. It is still located northeast of Pravoka, and I believe there is a reference to it in the README of this one, and I just have not bothered to come over here yet. I'm a bit over-leveled for this to be a Peninsula of Power. It actually is a peninsula of appropriate level enemies. Earlier in the game, this would have been a very, very valuable tool for gaining some early game levels, although the monsters over here, just like they are in the real game, would be very difficult for most low-level parties. You kind of hope for actually a battle like that, where you have a couple of giants, or maybe just one giant when you have low-level parties before. Here's a battle with the Frost Wolves, which is another enemy you can fight in the Peninsula of Power. You can fight groups of them, and they can really trash you in both versions of this game, or in every version of this game, when they use their Frost ability, which is all targeting and Ice Elemental. That's why I'm choosing in the first round to use Shell first. That will help protect us from any Frost or Blizzard moves that do come at us. And now I'm using the Soft spell, which heals stone status when used out of battle on your party, but it inflicts petrification when used in battle. Of course, it does have to pass a hit check. But you saw that wolf was petrified, and I'm finding that a lot of random monsters are susceptible to stone status. So actually, my cleric is now a very valuable weapon when I'm doing random battles, when I don't mind spending spell charges every turn. So when I am grinding or trying to build levels, pick up gold, pick up experience, it's nice to go fight big, beefy enemies with lots of hit points, and then just have my cleric take them out one at a time, while my other characters maybe whittle down the hit points of another one over a few rounds. My cleric can just start knocking them out. I have a level 5 spell charge to fill out. Unfortunately, Crescent Lake, where I had first, is home of the level 6 spells. So I won't be picking up any of these, although I'm hoping that I do pick up some spells at that level. Heal 3 would be a nice one to pick up. I also don't know if the Paladin can pick up the Chakra spell. The Chakra spell is a single targeting, self-targeting actually, spell that restores all of your hit points and your status. Now, I've stumbled upon an island here, straight south of Melmond, with some kind of castle on it. And it has 4 different types of overland tile: mountains, the light green prairie grass, the desert, and the swamp. So we have, looks like, 4 sets of ladders going down, and we have the loot, we have the cube, we have the rod. Now those are just references that are being made. So we have some of the original game's key items, as they were so called. They weren't really called that, they were just mixed in with the regular items, and they annoyingly popped to the front of your inventory list, and your consumable items got pushed to the bottom of your inventory list. So we have the old game's key items are hinted at here. I am not sure if they are optional, or if there's something that I will need maybe when I'm doing the final dungeon. Maybe I will need to collect all of these key items. It's possible that these key items will be needed when I am going down through the final dungeon or a later dungeon. It would be an interesting thing, and maybe this is how it is, maybe it's not. But as I'm fighting these wizard bones here, if this island is not on the world map, much like a Mirage Village in Final Fantasy V, it's not on the map, but maybe in the final dungeon you run into a wall that says you need the cube to pass or you need the loot to pass, but the loot cannot be picked up anywhere except yada yada yada, and then a cryptic hint at where this island might be. That, of course, would force you to, in this game, you would have to exit out of the final dungeon. You need the exit spell, or just die and restart. And here's a reference to the crown. And this floor looks pretty small, the crown floor. And it has damage tiles. So there's our lava tile, similar to what we just went through with Gurgu Volcano. I understand that the lava tiles take 2 hit points per step instead of 1. So they are a little bit more vicious in this hack than in the vanilla version. These cockatrices are nasty and dangerous, but thankfully they are escapable battles. And there's a chest. Now, of course, this is going to be protected by something. We have 2 time mages and 2 sages. These share the sprite with the old games. Mages and fighters. They were called fighters, though I think they still used some spells and abilities. So I'm picking some different things. I've got Bolt 3 for a lot of damage. I'm going to try to protect myself. Unfortunately, those Bolt 2s fired off before I got the shell off, so they did their full damage. But any Bolt 2s that come up later will be protected. There's the shield spell. That boosts their physical defense. So any of these hits that are non-critical hits will not do as much damage. And there's the Bolt 2. You can see how much damage it's doing. Much, much less than the first one. We made it through. It's slugfest so far, though. Lots of damage flying back and forth on both sides. I'm going to try to petrify one of these sages and just keep the all-targeting damage going up. There's Invis, which will boost their evasion to physical attacks, like, of course, magical attacks. But that's nice to get the time mages out of the way. So we can tell that they have a little bit less. Now there's Chakra on themselves, so that puts their hit points back up at max, and it would have healed any statuses that they had on. The soft spell missed that first time there against the sages. I'm using the temper ring because I think soft is going to be my my savior here. I've got 2 more softs. I'm hoping to try again and land one this time, and try and pour a bunch of damage into the other one to see if we can do anything here. Holy 3, this is curious. I'm not quite sure what kind of party member Holy 3 would actually damage. Their soft did land, petrified that particular sage. There's Fire 3 and a huge chunk of damage. So I'm hoping to take this one out either with soft or with the Fire, well, not my Fire 3, I guess. I've got my Comet spell. Anything to land this one, and that one missed. Nice damage from my Viking, nice damage from Comet. Not much Esper can do, but here comes Quake. And Quake promptly does over 400 damage to all of my party members and takes them out. So that is what is guarding the crown in this little side dungeon here. Whatever this is, I'm assuming that that's the crown and the chest right behind it. So when I tackle that battle again, I'll have to adjust my strategy a little bit, maybe focus my efforts on getting the sages turned to stone more quickly. Although I don't know how I can do that because I'd still like to get our protections up with shield. Anyway, we're going to go to Melmond and continue our exploration. This is not to, we're not going to be completely clearing that dungeon in this video. We are just exploring. I'm seeing what Esper can learn here. I'm guessing it's going to be just Cure 3 and Holy 3. Cannot learn Shell. Cannot learn Soft. Soft would be a great spell to add to Esper's spell list. Unfortunately, we cannot add that to. Actually, either of those would be nice to add to the spell list. Level 5 is a pretty good spell level. Level 4 has Life, and Life also is a great offensive spell against undead. You can't use it in battle to revive your party members, but you can cast it as a single targeting big damage spell against undead. I'm going to save up here, and then we're going to head to the northern continent to see what is going on up there. And again, we're just dipping our toes into the various things that we can see here. The airship really opens up a lot of choices, just as it does in the vanilla version of this game. Once you have the airship, you can really choose to go to one of several different places. You can visit the waterfall and pick up the first ribbon, kind of a cheap ribbon that you can get before you're quote-unquote supposed to go there, before you're narratively supposed to go, but it's a cheap way to get a quick ribbon. And the defender's sword, the defense sword, is in there. We're going to visit Gaia and just take a look at the spells that are available. I don't have the cash to learn that 7th level spell. I'm a little ways from 30,000. And I'm just looking at what the various white spells are here at level 7. So we will come back when we have a level 7 spell level. This is the broom, saying, do you have great power? And added to the broom's text has been the push B, hold B, push select. The order has been changed because the old brooms said push B, select. It's been made clearer, if I may say. We have the mithril set of armor here and the mithril set of weapons, but it's been made clearer. You hold down B and push select, or hold down select, push B. I can't remember the order there, but you do need to hold them both. But simply saying push B, select is a little bit misleading because you might push B, then select. But these later brooms do say, do you have great power? Which doesn't make any more sense than push B, select. So I'm looking for differences in the text from these guys. There's the pirate that has stolen the Oxyale and has sold that off to the caravan. And you know, when you play lots of different versions of this game that have had the text changed in so many different ways, it's hard to remember exactly what all of the original text was beyond some of the most iconic pieces like I, Garland, will knock you all down, etc. So this is what Onrak looks like. Onrak is there. Now, normally you can park the ship a little bit to the west of Onrak, southwest of Onrak, but it's been blocked out by mountains, so to get to Onrak, you'll have to go to the northwest and walk a little bit farther. This island is where the Cardia Islands used to be, and it's the Library of the Ancients, preserves from the world's oldest documents, but now it has become haunted. And so he disappears for us. I don't know if there was a check there or if that was just a sprite that initiates a prompt to have it disappear. So we're checking bookshelves. And so we have a hidden treasure box behind the bookshelf. I don't know what the programming of it was. I don't know if there is actually a treasure chest sprite with the bookshelf sprite sitting on top of it, or if the hacker of this game found a way to kind of hide a treasure chest code in a different kind of sprite. If so, that's pretty cool. It also means that I could have been missing all kinds of stuff, because there could be things hidden in lots of otherwise harmless-looking barrels and chairs and tables in this game. So it's making me rethink all of that. Here we have a battle with wraiths, specters, all of the both ghostly and humanoid type undead. Holy 3 will be a huge help in kind of clearing things out. There's the life spell, but unfortunately I targeted it at a target that is no longer there. So now this round I'm having my hammer wielders go after the humanoid type undead, and my non-hammer wielders go after the ghostly type undead. Because my hammer wielders can do critical damage to the humanoid types, the corporeal types of undead, skeletons, the zombies, and the geists and specters, those kinds of enemies. I'm just checking everything here in this treasure room. I found the 10,000 in that one corner, so I'm hoping that there's something else in there, but there is nothing else. I'm not going to completely clear out the Library of the Ancients. We are going to continue on to more fun things that we can visit here with our airship. And this is where you normally find the Desert Oasis. Normally there's a parking spot closer, but now we have to park farther south down here. And then also we have this curious little guy, and that is a dot that's on the map. Looks like a little whirlpool or something there in the sea. I'm guessing we're going to need our regular old ship to visit that one. So we're not going to visit that one right now. We'll take a look at that later. We're seeing some more monsters of the northern continent. We've got the clay golems. And we're in this big desert here, this northern continent desert, with a familiar battle with rogues and sand hags. We have seen rogues starting in the Gurgu volcano, and we saw the rogue sand hag combo quite often in the Ryukan desert cave, where we got our airship, or the floater, that allowed us to raise the airship. So here's where our caravan normally is, and there is our caravan indeed, but it is not just a simple a shop now. It is what looks like a dungeon, complete with random battles, and this one is between another combo of rogues and sand hags. So simply going to the caravan and buying the bottle is not going to be enough. Also, I have nowhere near enough money to afford whatever the bottle is going to charge. Someone in Gaia, I may not have revealed it in this video, but I did run into someone in Gaia who made a very cryptic reference to who knows what the bazaar might charge for the bottle with the Oxyale, or with the fairy who can get us Oxyale, if that is indeed the order of events still. Here's a battle with 4 wizard ogres. I'm curious to see what they pull out on us, so we're going to go ahead and fight this battle. In the vanilla version of the game, they can cast things like Ruse, which is similar to the Invis 2 spell, but I don't think they actually cast Invis 2, I think they cast Ruse. There's the soft spell, took out the bottom right ogre in one shot. So this is where it becomes very handy. And I'll see if I can take out a second ogre in one shot, and I can just use single targeting damage on these other ones. I'm guessing that the castle with the crown and the loot and the cube, I'm guessing that castle is supposed to be cleared at maybe a slightly higher level than what we are, or possibly we're just supposed to try to get lucky on that battle with the sages and the time mages. Because if another one of those softs had landed, I could have got out of there clean with the crown. Again, the Library of Ancients, I don't know what could be waiting for us in there. We will have to go back and explore and try to find out what might be in there. We didn't get a whole lot of clues from the cryptic scholar we ran into there, who just says it hosts some of the world's oldest documents, but now it's become haunted, and haunted with undead, as we saw. That will be a nice place to do some grinding now that I have access to Holy 3 from my paladin. So now we're going to pop up to the Castle of Ordeals area. And there's the Castle of Ordeals. Normally, it's much easier to reach. It's actually easier to reach with your ship, not the airship, your regular old ship in the vanilla version. But in this case, looks like we have to walk a little bit more. Battle with the Tyro. Tyros are kind of known for, Tyros and T-Rex, for having lots of hit points, many hit points. I think T-Rex has a lot more than Tyros in the vanilla version, but it's nice. On our way to the Castle of Ordeals, I'm going to have 3 characters attempt to run away, and my cleric attempt to cast the soft spell. And if we run away, great. If the soft spell lands, and we petrify and kill the Tyro in one shot, also great. There we go. So there's another easy 646 points of experience. The gold I'm noticing isn't really flying up with a lot of these non-humanoid type enemies, which is unfortunate because gold is something I'm very short on after kind of filling out my spell lists a little bit. I'm very short on gold. And I'm going to need a big chunk of it for level 7 magic, and also for that bottle, whatever it's going to be costing me. It's 50,000, I think, in the vanilla version. And I'm well short of that. And in this game, I would expect it to be no less than 100. Maybe I'm just putting a angry estimate of what I think it might cost based on how much some of the other things cost in this game and what that looks like. So here's the Castle of Ordeals. That's a little lighthearted humor. Very, very maze-like as we just explore the first room of the Ordeals Castle. And we run into a Sacred, which is another reference to later Final Fantasy games, where you have the Minotaur named Sacred. So I love it. I love it. I think it's a summon spell. One of the Minotaur brothers, I think, Sacred, and I think Minotaur is just the other one. So it's interesting. We've seen Minotaurs already, and now we're running into Sacreds. I did try the Holy Spell, just wondering if it was a Zombol type enemy, but it was ineffective for us. But thankfully, Soft still works to petrify it and get rid of it. Not a huge reward on the experience in gold. So that's the opening of the Castle of Ordeal. So that kind of wraps up what I've discovered, at least. The new things you can visit in this patch when you get the airship. Next time we're going to be crawling some of those dungeons, trying to get some of those treasures from the Library of Ancients, and try another attempt at the Southwest Castle there. And of course, we'll eventually have to go through the other desert bazaar, the Oasis, and also the Castle of Ordeals here. So much more to come in this game. If you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, leave me a comment. We will see you next time for more Final Fantasy Ultra Champion Edition action.